And members of the committee. I'm the voice of twin sons, Taylor and Tyler Bryant, and unfortunately, I'm the voice of a dead son. Tyler Bryant was forced out of Central Virginia Training Center on January 17th, 2017. I also want to recognize my mother, who's my rock here, Ms. Esther Stinnett from Amherst, who does the road trips with me and has been there in the hospital and the ICUs and certainly been my support ever since a triplet pregnancy. And we happen to be country neighbors, so she's close by. I certainly support the opt-out legislation. I tried every branch of government to stop the being forced out of Central Virginia Training Center, and I refused to sign a document from Virginia Department of DB heads that said that Hiram Davis was a training center. So let's go back to what happened. My sons their reason for disability is prematurity. They were triplets, they were 29 weeks gestation, so they have had disability from the beginning, and they have had profound intellectual disability around 9 to 15 months level. They're nonverbal, non-ambulatory. They also have spastic quadriplegia, cerebral palsy, epilepsy, asthma, reactive airways. They used wheelchairs, tube feedings, trachs, oxygen. So probably some of the most severely impacted by Central Virginia Training Center. And I was definitely surprised when I got a phone call at school in August of 2016 saying that they wanted to close their building by December because the projected closure of Central Virginia Training Center was going to be 2020. And I thought that more people with better ability to go to community would go before my sons. But my son's building was selected to be closed, and so 42 people were caught up in this executive decision in Virginia. So of the 42, 36 were changed the level of care to ICF, but 6 people were selected to be forced out. And my sons were the first 2 to go without consent. So I did not consent. They were forced by a letter and an order by Acting Commissioner Jack Barber. And we left on a cold January morning, probably the worst time of the year to go out with fragile people. And they were transferred to Hiram Davis Medical Center, which is on the Central State campus in Petersburg, which is 139 miles away. And I have to say that Hiram Davis is not a training center, even though it serves some people with intellectual disability. I think the most profound shock is that it has mentally ill, forensics, and sex offenders. Today, Taylor's on the 3rd floor of a non-ADA building under a current fire marshal citation. It's his 6th move in a year. Just a few weeks ago, he was moved to the 3rd floor from his 2nd floor because of bed bugs. So when we arrive, which takes hours to go from Amherst to Petersburg, if we arrive on a weekend or after 4 o'clock, we're locked out. They have one operational psychiatric elevator. We have to be escorted to the floor. He's in a non-ADA ward-style room with no sink, 4 beds. Often we see people left in bed all day long with hospital gowns. When I asked for Taylor and Tyler to get up on a Saturday, it was like changing the culture. They weren't used to people being up on weekends. And of course, my sons were used to being up and dressed in street clothes and having a life on weekends. But back to Tyler. What happened with Tyler? Tyler didn't tolerate the trip. He weighed 2 pounds and 7 ounces when he was born. He was in the hospital for 2 months at UVA. And Tyler's always had a rocky asthma life. So basically, he was forced out. 49 days in the hospital, most of those ICU days, told he could not go back to Hiram Davis, and dead less than 2 months after out of CBTC, and he died in a Richmond hospital when I couldn't be there. I got a phone call when I was in my kitchen that I had a dead son in Richmond. So I fully support this, and I have listed care concerns, many ongoing care concerns.
Thank you, Ms. Bryant.